We are back with our AI news. So the first AI news we have is Zomato bans AI images from food generation of images. So let's get started on. Let's open the link and see what they are doing, and we will see how they are detecting all these AI images. We'll try to understand how Zomato will be, identifying all these AI images. So the first thing that we saw was, Zomato has recently announced that it's going to ban AI generated images from its menu of its restaurant partners from 16th September 2024. This decision came because it was a lot about authenticity and customer trust. The CEO Dipender Goyal also highlighted that these are misleading representation and people were trying to refund their requests and a lot of things like that were happening. Now the reasons for the ban. Let's just quickly go through what are the reasons of the ban. The first is customer complaints, as we saw.
ये
The
तो
image
मैंने
was misleading. Yes.
ये तो मेरे साथ भी हुआ है. So I ordered from another restaurant. Image अलग दिख रहा था, but when it arrived, it was totally different. So I think this is one of a bigger concern that maybe other partners will also face, but this is a big problem. It's a misrepresentation of the product that you are selling, right? Which is not good.
Definitely. Then the second reason is that they want to preserve authenticity. That is what they are trying to do. And proactive measures, because a lot of restaurant owners, about 10% partners utilized AI generated images. So they wanted to take a preventive measure. And to all this, to support all this, what they have done is they have implemented an AI tool that is capable of detecting AI generated images with an approximate accuracy of 90%. So that is a really good accuracy, Ron. 90% accuracy if this is an AI generated image or not. And they're also providing photography services to their, restaurant partners for $4,000, which is way below the market standards. Now let's see why it is opposite to what Swiggy is doing. This is all Swiggy versus Zomato that's going on. The move is in contrast. Yeah.
Swiggy बोल रहा है कि तुम AI generated use करो, but Zomato is like no, we'll preserve the authenticity. So let's see ना sir, क्या होता है? This is what it talks about, right?
Swiggy is basically providing AI-powered photo shoot services to their restaurant partners, while Zomato is completely opposite. You see, these two big companies are just taking completely different stances on AI-generated images, which is really good. Like, I found really interesting that both the companies are playing their game in a different way. And let's so I wanted to understand how this system would work and how this AI generated image detection is working. So let's go and ask O1 preview. Let's go to our ChatGPT model and ask it that how such a system can be implemented, right? So we will go to our ChatGPT and ask how would Zomato implement this AI image detection system.
I have to create a model to check whether the image is generated by
AI
Gen
or not.
AI.
AI or not, Gen AI.
Using AI or not, okay?
And we have to provide that the images will be of food. The images will be of food.
Images will be of food.
Yes. And this has been implemented by Zomato recently. So I want to understand how they have built this system.
क्या लगता है सर भाई? अभी बताएगा हमको ये?
Yes, बताएगा.
एक्स्ट्रा इंफॉर्मेशन देने का उसका चेन ऑफ थॉट हिल जाता है मेरे को लगता है.
अरे उसको ज्यादा नहीं बताने का.
Real time, gather a large data set of real food photographs.
Let's start from scratch. It's not for 4 seconds, not much time, right? And so first thing it's telling to create a model that can determine whether an image of a food is generated by AI or a real photograph. You can follow systematic approach that involves data collection, pre-processing, model selection, training, and evaluation. Let's start with the first step. It's the data collection. So you gather a large data set of real food photographs. This can be sourced from existing database or publicly available images. So Zomato has a
को तो
lot
प्रॉब्लम
of
ही नहीं है ये तो, right? Because Zomato
have
के
a
पास
lot
तो
of images.
सिर्फ images ही है. So this
they have. Now what they'll do is they'll collect AI generated images of food. This also they have because they're 10% of customers were having AI generated images. You can use generate it using GANs, diffusion models, DALI, Midjourney, all this good image models. You can generate it from there also, right? Now comes the next step, everyone. The data pre-processing. Go ahead.
So it says the first step we'll do is to normalize the data that ensure all images are of same size and format for consistency, right? So even जब हमने flux model की training देखी थी, तो I think this is a common point that will. Second is that augmentation, apply techniques like rotation, flipping, and cropping to increase the diversity of your data set and prevent overfitting. So ये basically overfitting और hallucination को basically कम करने के लिए these are the methods that we can use, right?
So whenever we train computer vision model, Rohan, so what we do is we augment the data. Like we also send flipped images, we also
Yes.
send rotated images, we
Cropped
also send
images.
black and white. So those kind of so that overfitting does not happen for the vision model.
And finally, it takes about labeling. So clearly label each
Ah.
image as real or AI generated before passing it to the model, right? So this is a common technique. Next, we have feature extraction. So once we are done with data collection and data pre-processing, then we'll move to the feature extraction where we'll use CNN. These are your favorite to automatically extract
It's
features
your
from
favorite,
the...
your favorite, not my favorite.
But I think, yeah, so eventually it is saying that we can use any CNN network and which will extract, explode handcrafted features that might highlight artificial found in AI generated image, such as texture, inconsistency, or unnatural lighting. So these are the different ways that we will gonna. So these are just
Feature extraction is
feature.
very important one.
Correct.
Yeah.
और यही actually use करके आप मॉडल ट्रेन होगा और समझ पाएगा कि whether it is a real image or an AI generated image, right? This इसी features को use करके. Then we have
Absolutely, absolutely.
then we have a model selection. We can either go for CNN or maybe अभी कोई तो large language model भी आ ही गया होगा जो ये कर देता है, right? So it's
We
all
will
up.
have to use a vision model, but CNNs maybe we can use ResNet or efficient net. So what they are doing is basically they are picking up a base model, ResNet, and they are fine tuning it on some task, a classification task, whether this is real or AI generated. This is the two things the model has to output. So the input will be an image, the output will be only two things, real or fake, real or AI generated. So this is the model selection part where they are trying out with ResNet, Inception, or efficient net. Now comes the training the model part. So you split your data set into training and testing sets. 70% goes to the training, 50% goes into validation, and 15% goes to testing. Use this training set to teach the model to distinguish between real and AI generated images. Validate the model's performance using validation set and fine tuning hyperparameters accordingly. This is what Zomato is saying that 10%, 90% accuracy we have. So they have tested it on their validation set and saying that, okay, now we can 90% accurately predict how the AI generated images work. What is the step number 6, Rohan?
So step number 6 is evaluation. So it is like assert the model performance using metrics like accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score, right? So it
Precision,
talks about
recall, F1 score, standard stuff.
Standard stuff. So it's about like once you have trained the model, then you have to check whether it is able to classify my image or not. I think it's a basic problem of classification that they are trying to solve, right? But instead of classifying dogs versus cat, here they are classifying AI generated image or an actual image. And
Absolutely.
then it says that perform a receiver operating character analysis to evaluate the trade-off between true positives. It's basically false
precision recall
positive.
F1 score. Precision recall F1 score. Next step is basically you deploy it and then you continuously improve it. Understanding Zomato's approach. While specific details about Zomato's implementation may not be publicly available, they are likely to follow a similar approach. Companies like Zomato may use such models to maintain authenticity of their platform, ensuring that the food images are genuine. That is exactly what they are using it for. Let's just go and see on what are the tools and frameworks that would be required. You would need.
So it says TensorFlow, and I think it will give you all the basic libraries and packages, right? Because it's thinking in more in lines of CNNs and TensorFlow, PyTorch, and it uses OpenCV and Keras to it. But I think we can also use any vision transformer at this point of time to achieve these things much easily as compared to starting it from scratch and start training a CNN model, right?
But Ron, see, if you see from Zomato's perspective, right, a vision model will be very expensive because they have to validate all the 100 million images they have on their platform. So what it is good for them that they have implemented their own classifier and which does this so that they can use it for Anant Kal ke liye. Like forever they can use this.
And the only thing they have to pay is the computation cost, not the vendor cost, right? So there's a trade-off,
Awesome,
but I think the whole idea is that this is how it may work or may not work. So someone has to try and see whether it is working or not. But this is what GPT thinks, that if he has to do it, he will be doing it like this.
Definitely. But even Zomato might have taken some similar approach only. So it's absolutely correct what we saw.
Yeah, and I think there's no other way, right? So they have to take some bunch of images, they have to extract the features, and depending on these features, they will train a model. And once that model is trained, then they will gonna use it to say what's the accuracy rate, how can we improve it, do we need to retrain it, or whatever.
Precision F1, all that.
Precision F1 and all this.